Welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I'm here with Alysha Haran to talk about her film, Homeward Dawn. Let's take a look at a clip.
You don't seem like something you'd find in a place like this.
You don't either.
What'd you do?
Temper's been the devil on my back my whole life.
Yeah, I got a devil too.
You were in the Army.
Marines.
I know good men can make mistakes as easily as bad ones. And here you are.
Alysha, welcome.
Thank you.
So tell us, what was the inspiration for this really beautiful and poignant film?
Thank you. I'm a veteran, and I had been out of the military for a few years, and the struggles that veterans face in transition's a very real thing. It's very different for everyone. It's not always the same as we see characterized in film. So I was looking into it. I had lost a couple friends to suicide, and I was struggling myself. And so I came across a story. Homeward Dawn is inspired by a true story. And there was an instance of a veteran receiving a very important helping hand when he needed it most. So it inspired me to look into it a little deeper and really try to understand PTSD in a way that I hadn't thought about it before. So I focused on the grief aspect of it and the universality of it. And that is sort of where the idea came from.
Yeah. You said it was based on a true story. Talk about the scripting process and how much of that you brought, and then how you fictionalized it, of course, that process.
Yes, it was, well, the short film format is like remarkable, also challenging. You have to, a good short film is crafted with sort of a beginning, middle, and end. And I tend to really enjoy stories that have elements you didn't see coming. So obviously that was a fictionalized aspect of my version, which was the deputy warden learning at the end that he wasn't a stranger to this young man, but he was there intentionally. And from there, I think the other part that, was my fingerprint on the story was sort of just the emotional landscape that both the men had in their backgrounds and their past.
So the fictional, the faction part, or the part that was based on, did it involve a night in jail? Was that?
Yeah, a young man ended up having to spend a night in jail, and the judge who put him in spent the night in jail with him, which is just a really remarkable support. That's just, when we say like do amazing acts of kindness, I don't think that there's one that stunned me, that somebody would put themselves right there sort of in the foxhole, so to speak, with somebody who needed that support.
Absolutely. And especially, you're talking about the short film format and the beginning, middle, end. Talk about your process scripting in terms of, because it's such a beautiful, I don't want to spoil it, for people who haven't seen it, but there's such a wonderful, amazing emotional arc in the story and the script with the characters. So can you first talk about the scripting process of achieving that?
Yes, absolutely. Well, the veteran story was sort of the easier one because I knew what it was.
Right.
So the work was in crafting sort of a character to play off of him and for him to be able to play off of. So I have some wonderful mentors in my life, and one who's an incredibly accomplished writer. His only note he gave me was, just make sure that it's awkward. Like, don't allow these two men to feel too comfortable around each other in the beginning. So I wrote with that note in my head. And then I really wanted to create an organic background for Jefferson's character that highlighted his own struggles in a way that made him believable to be in the cell with the other character. And so that was a very exciting part of the scripting process to create such a wonderful human that I would want to know, whose struggles were very real,
Right.
And who in his own right deserves all the credit for overcoming his own past. And so it just sort of came from there.
Yeah, and using that example, like I think that's very important. Somebody that could match him and be an anchor, actually creating that anchor.
Yeah, because if he was too perfect and he had no flaws, there'd be no reason for this veteran to trust him or open up to him if he didn't show that he has the same struggles, you know, because that's the truth. We all do, right?
Right.
And you sit with somebody long enough and what you find is not what you don't have in common, but always what you do have in common.
Absolutely. And being in this contained place,
Yeah.
you know, for an indefinite, as far as they know, period of time in a jail cell. They don't know how long they're going to be there together. So yeah, it's really, really wonderful that way to achieve that level of tension, which leads me into my next question, kind of a twofold question as well. It's like, talk about the production process, you know. Let's start with the actors and, again, working with them to achieve this journey.
Yeah. Well, I was blessed with the actors. So Justin Gesso, who plays Ethan, he was the first person that I found. And he is an incredibly talented actor, but actually his career is, he's a very successful pop star. So he was looking to do something back in the acting space. And so we talked about this, and he didn't have any... you know, he wasn't in the military, and so he was a little worried about portraying a veteran. So we spent a lot of time talking about that, and that actually was a good thing, because I think that, you know, somebody who thinks they know, like, the experience, it becomes kind of tropey, and that's what I didn't want. And so that lent itself, I think, to a different portrayal, because the truth is that when you get to know people in the military, they're as unique and varied. Like, it is not, it's not like three personalities of people that go into the military. There's a lot of variety. So he was like, well, I don't know if I would do this. And I was like, that's okay. There's someone in the military who is like you. And then for Jason E. Kelly plays Jefferson. We scheduled production, and we were like 3 weeks away from shooting, and I didn't have somebody to play that character. And I had another film in a festival, and I cleared my schedule, and I made an agreement with the universe that I would watch every film if they would only just send me my Jefferson. And there was a short film that came on the screen, and he popped up, and it was just like this instantaneous, visceral, oh my God, that's him. Thankfully, he was there for the Q&A afterwards, and I did not physically assault him, but I was very, very direct when he exited the theater. But he came, he's a professional actor. He's super accomplished. But his father was a veteran. His father spent 20 or 30 years in the Air Force. And he had just lost his dad a couple years beforehand, and he had a young son. And so it was interesting that it was right around then in his own personal life where he was starting to really kind of look back on his father's experience. And that's what I think really spoke to him about this. And then also I think it was just, Jason is as beautiful a human being as Jefferson is, somebody who would spend the night in jail with you to help you.
Yeah, he had radiated such a empathy. He really did. Wonderful, wonderful work in that character.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all him.
Yeah. So now talk about the physical production process. You as director, the location, and how long did it take you to shoot? And again, this contained space, high emotions. Talk about the physical production.
Yeah, we had 2 days to shoot it.
Wow.
And that included like load in and load out. So traditional short film, you never have enough time. But we found a standing location, which was great, and it was wonderful because I don't know if you noticed, but the jail cell has bars on 2 sides, and that's really unique.
All right.
A lot of cells only have bars on one side, so that gave us like immense flexibility with just being able to find different angles and play with the bars being in the foreground, because obviously it's a metaphor, right?
Right, yeah.
That they're in like physical jail and then emotional jail as well. And then we really just we did rehearsals, and we worked in a small space to try and just get them sort of comfortable with being near each other like that. And then we shot with one camera. So my background is in theater, so I believe in very, very long takes, letting my actors act. And whether that means they leave frame and then come back, I don't usually cut unnecessarily.
Right.
And thankfully now in the digital world, you can do that. We did kind of address the first 10, 12 minutes on its own, and then the emotional stuff we did in its own sort of set of setups.
Gotcha.
I don't know if that was the right thing to do in retrospect, but that's how we did it, just for scheduling purposes.
Well, it works. It
Thank
totally
you.
works on film. It works on film.
Thanks.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for coming to talk to us about your film. Where can we follow you and find out what you're up to next and things like that?
Yes, I'm terrible at social media. I have an Instagram page that's just focused on my film work. That's my first and last name.
Great.
And then my producing partner and I have a film company called Lost Light Films. And that's where you can see all of the work we're doing. We shot a feature this summer that's in post-production. Thank you so much. In the true indie film spirit. And then we've got a couple more features in development. So.
Great. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.